So big YouTubers got the early access basically to play Battlefield Portal. This gameplay is from Jack Frax. If you guys don't know him, go ahead and check out his channel. He's one of the best Battlefield players out there. But today specifically, we're going to be going into and looking at everything that you can change because they released the Battlefield Portal experience. Now, I don't think you can actually create a game yet because the early access isn't officially out, right? These were just people testing the game. But again, we're going to be going over everything. And just as far as all the videos that I've watched, people are saying that this is amazing. Like every gun that you use from past Battlefields feels like the guns actually were from those past Battlefields. Nothing like some Battlefield 2042. So everything they say, it looks amazing. They fixed a lot of the optimization issues. Apparently, of course, there's still some little bugs here and there, but right now this does look insanely promising. But ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into everything that you can change into the Battlefield Portal experience. And let me tell you, it's about to get crazy. So ladies and gentlemen, all you have to do is actually go into portal.battlefield.com experience, and here's where you're able to create. Now, just to log in is pretty easy. You can just log in using your PlayStation, using your Xbox, whatever it is, and you log in. And again, like I said before, just beware, all right? This goes crazy, all right? You're gonna need a master degrees for this. So we got a bunch of game modes, right? You can choose Rush, Conquest, Conquest Large, Team Deathmatch, and Free for All. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to go with Team Deathmatch because these ones right here don't offer the last part, which is where things really get crazy, all right? So here we select the game mode. Let's say we want Team Deathmatch. We go into the map rotation. We got a bunch of maps that we can select, and as you guys can see, it gives you like a little outline of the size of the map, right? So you know, so let's say we choose a couple of these maps that we want in rotation. Let's say we don't want one of these, we just click them on. And honestly, like the UI is like really simple. Like, I mean, it's pretty straightforward on what you can do. Next up, everything here is in the bottom right. So every time you want to go next, you click there. You can select the maximum number of players. Let's say we want 120. And again, it's going to tell us that it's not available for our platforms again, because if you have old gen, you will only be able to play until 64 players. And you can distribute the team here. They'll probably change this. I don't know why. Oh, there we go. It's just telling you how many will be on each team. Then you can select like the squad spawn type and per squad per limit as well. Next up, we're going to go into gameplay. Again, we got a lot of options here. And this is where things can get a little bit interesting. So you can actually make it like a real, kind of like an extreme realistic game, right? So you can turn like friendly fire on. The projectile multiplier speed, you can make it lower, or you can make just bullets zip past you really fast. Global damage multiplier, extreme weather events. These are things obviously like the tornado or just things moving around all over the place. And here we got a little information thing in case you don't know exactly what it is. It does an amazing job at explaining it, what everything does. And we've got just another part of the damage multipliers. We got aim assist. You can turn it on or off. What do you choose to drop on death, and the classic weapon tuning, so you can just change the TTK here of the game. Next up, once we go into the soldier, we got man down. So when you down, you can choose whether you're crawling, whether you're down, or whether you're instant dead. You can actually choose whether you can go prone or not, which is crazy. The fall damage multiplier and a bunch of other things here again that I'll leave here in the screen just so you guys can take a look. We can choose whether we want squad revive or not, and then the health regeneration as well, whether you want it on or off. And then we're going to go into vehicles, and you got the vehicle multiplier spawn delay. So if you just basically never want them to spawn, or if you want them to spawn all the time, you got them right here. And then the vehicle health regeneration and a bunch of just other little things that are with here. Next time we go into the user interface, and here's where you can make it again like realistic looking. So you could take the compass off, the minimap off, the HUD off, or the HUD, however you call it. Soldier modification, again, this is like when you're playing in the game and you can like change your weapon, so you can take that off. Ally identification, so like they got a little ping right above them head. Again, you can, and so if you take all these things off, you're basically playing like a squad or like an Arma type 3 gameplay, and you can choose the ping behavior as well. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't the craziest part, all right? And here, this is something pretty fun. So you can actually put AI into the game, and I think this is kind of fun because let's say you're playing with your friends and you want to fill this massive 124 people player, but obviously you don't have their friends or your server isn't that popular, so you can go ahead and select the PvE, right? So you can select maybe like PvP versus AI, and then you can just add some AI into the game, and here you can select the difficulty that they're at and all that sort of stuff. So it's something pretty cool that you can do. And again, here you got all the settings that you can do for all these AI players. And then when we go into teams, this is where you can select, maybe let's say you want to do like players from World War II versus modern and stuff like that. Again, this just selects the outfits of the player, but it also selects the classes. You guys can see here, so the classes, weapons, and and vehicles. So this is where you could do again like World War II versus modern, right? Who would win? And things get a little bit interesting. As you guys can see here, we got Battlefield 2042, Battlefield 3, Battlefield Bad Company 2, and the Battlefield 1942. Or you can select the map default, which means that whatever map you're playing, depending on that game, that is the faction that you will use. And then here we go into characters here. Again, this isn't the field upgrades. This is just the characters that you can choose. So this isn't where you remove the specialist or anything like that. You can just select which ones they are. Next up, we go into next, and here we can select all the assault rifles, like whether you want one or whether you want to take them out, and you got every single one of them. Here's where you can do like snipers only, or like Car 98 versus this, here knives only, anything that you want that you can think of. This is where you do it, and you either check them off or take them on. And then we go into attachments. It just takes a little while to load up. And here again, we got there's not that many attachments for 1942, but you can take those off. And here, as you can see, all the attachments for 2042, you got a lot more attachments, and again, you can take them on or off, just whatever you want. Then we go into vehicles, and it's basically the same thing where you can customize the vehicles, again selecting which ones you want them to spawn. Like here, right here, we got all the ones that we want to select. Either you can take them all off if you want, if you don't want any vehicles or anything like that. Let's say that we don't want any vehicles, we'll just remove them all right here. And again, like I was just saying, it's like, it's really easy. Like, I mean, but again, this is the easy part, all right? We haven't jumped into the master's degree yet. And now here's where the gadgets, right? So here's where if you don't want the specialist dudes, right? Like you don't want the grappling hook, you don't want the ballistic shield, the drone, all this other stuff, you could just remove it completely. And here's where you could play without specialist babe. This is one of the most important ones. Like I know a lot of people like to play without it. And then here you got all the other like throwables, the explosives, anything like that. And here we got them on the other side as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for your master's degree in Battlefield 2042 Portal? So again, this doesn't exist for all game modes, all right? It's only for specific game modes that you can do this. But once you go into rules editor, this is where things get really crazy. Things like what happens when a player dies or if the man is down, then something happens. And as you guys can see here, you got everything. So you got basically rules here that you can choose here. You got array, so set variables, gameplays, like set deploy time. And again, if you don't know exactly what these are, right? So let's say you really want to learn and you want to create all this stuff, then they made something really interesting. So you just right click here and you can either duplicate it, but here you go to help and you got to read it all. But I mean, as you guys can see, there's a lot of explaining here, and you can basically just read it all and it will really tell you how to do it. So again, here it tells you, right? So on player died, right? This will trigger whenever a player dies, payloads, event, player, victim. So on player deployed, whenever a player is deployed. And again, like if we go to event payloads or logic, something like that. So if then, so there's just so many things that you can do here. And again, you can click help here and it'll tell you again everything that you want to do. But again, this is where the real customization happens, and we're just gonna have to probably wait until some guy actually comes in here and just looks at everything, because there is a lot to look at. As you guys can see, this is everything that we have. You could actually search here as well in case you're looking for something specific. But here we go again, pause game mode time, kill, spot target. Again, things can get really interesting here, but you really got to look into it and really take your time, because this is some interesting stuff. But again, even in the easy stuff, like all the customization here that they got going on, it's really easy. So after you've done all that, let's say we want to go back, weapons, vehicles, let's just wait for this to reload. So let's say you go to finish, and then you just put the name, you put the description. And again, I can't create it right now because the game isn't out yet. They just released that, so the early access isn't out for everybody. So that's why if I put create, it just says unable to create experience, again because the game hasn't been out yet. But as you guys can see, there are a lot of things that you can play around, and this one right here just is just crazy. Like, you're definitely gonna need a master's degree for this. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. Peace out, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.